And at the divine magical 333 on 3-3, which is the number for ascended masters, like our beloved Yeshua, who many of you may know as Jesus, and so many more like Buddha. All the ascended masters are here with us at this time, which is really fun because we need all the support we can get, and it's super fun. Let me let a few more people in here. As we're just anchoring in and allowing people to come in, just be wherever you are, start noticing how your body feels, kind of get settled, shake it out if you need to. Just kind of be anchoring in and grounding in here. And I'll kind of keep my attention split for the next few minutes to be letting people in still. So we'll be very patient because time is non-existent anyway. So let's just start with some deep breaths, kind of anchoring into the space. Anyone who's just joining, feel free to join on camera, off camera, however your little heart desires, whatever makes you most comfortable. And we're just anchoring into the space. Welcome to the Healing Hearth Retreat space. This is a virtual and in-person space of healing, and we do personal and custom retreats, and a lot of my stuff has been virtual because I've been in the forest off grid, and now I have a space and it's so fun. Yay. Okay, let's assume that most of the people who are coming are here, and let's just anchor into this space. And close your eyes, you can keep them open, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just opening up to this space, calling all of our attention back into this moment, anything we may have been doing before. Taking some deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just coming into this fully present space, noticing how your body feels, not needing to change it or make anything different, just noticing what might be tense, what might be needing a little shake out, and anytime just feel free to shake out, breathe, get up, lay down, whatever you need to do, listen to your body. We'll only be here for about an hour, but if you need a bathroom break, listen to your body. This is the key. If you learn anything today, listen to your body. And so if you need to adjust, move, walk away, come back, it's all good. Just taking some deep breaths and anchoring into this moment, feeling your sit bones on the chair or the floor, wherever you're sitting. Feeling your feet on the ground, feeling the weight of gravity holding you like a big hug from Mama Gaia. Just taking some deep cleansing breaths in through your nose, gathering up anything that doesn't serve you, anything you may have taken on, out through your mouth. Just coming into this time together, making any adjustments you need to make. And we call forth our highest wisdoms, our angels and guides of the highest light, our divine ascended masters at this amazing hour of 3:33 on 3-3. And we ask for the highest healing, the highest awareness, the highest learning, the highest opening, and the most ahas possible for everyone here. May they get exactly what they need, and may we all feel held and connected. And so it is. Okay. So I mentioned at the start here, I have been wanting to teach this class for at least a year, but it wasn't quite ready. A few more pieces popped in over the last probably 3 or 4 months, which has been really fun. So that kind of put it all together, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what I needed. And it was like, what was fun is that it brought it all together, like the missing link in somatic teaching and the missing link in nervous system and the missing link in self-love. It's all the same. Yeah. So cool. Which I was like, it took me a while for my brain to I could feel it out here. And it took me a while for my brain to gather it together. And when I synthesized it all, I was like, this is amazing. And then I wanted to tell everybody. So that's you all. Thanks for being here. I'm super excited. I'm Anna DeMoshe. I am a healer of all kinds. I generally focus on families and couples moving through separation and co-parenting. I'm also a massive space holder. I do events and also lots of somatic healing and helping people be in their bodies. So I'm like a bridge. I help connect people to their bodies, from their bodies to spirit, from their bodies to their minds to spirit, from, you know, the heavens to the earth, through who they are to where they want to be. It's really fun. I really love it. And I'm so glad you guys are here. Let's see. Let me see if I can get easily my notes. Now, if you know me, you know why I'm going to read off notes, because otherwise we'll be doing this. And there'll be a sub story over here, and then we'll come back here, and it'll be really hard to follow. And this is literally like the culmination of everything I've ever wanted to teach and that I want you to know. So like, if I die tomorrow, this is what I wanted y'all to know. So I wanted to make sure that I got it down. And that I didn't forget anything. So you'll see me reading a little bit. I'm going to give you a brief outline. We are going to do some fundamental truths that I want you to know. So if you take away anything, it will be these 3 pieces. I think there might be 4. We'll do a quick background on somatic healing, nervous system, what that even is, why it's important. We will do the foundations of trauma, pain, all of that, what that actually is, where it comes from. We'll talk about our patterns, our protectors. We'll talk about true self-love and why it relates to this, like what it has to do with anything. We'll do a brief exercise and we'll talk about unworthiness and trauma. We'll do a guided practice and then we'll wrap it up. And we're going to cover a lot of information. A lot of information. Don't feel like you have to, let me fix something on my screen here. Hold on just a second. Don't feel like you have to, yeah, can everyone mute themselves? I don't know why I don't have the ability to do that. I should. Let me see if I can. I don't see an ability to do that. If everybody can mute themselves, that would be awesome. Okay. Now, while I'm talking, feel free to pop and ask questions. I may not see you, so just feel free to unmute yourself and say, hey, I didn't understand that. Hey, can you explain that again? Totally fine. If you want to take notes, take notes. Let me just get my screen set up here. If you don't want to, that's okay. So we're going to cover a lot. It will all be here later. I'm going to send you the recording. I'm going to make a video of this later. You can download it. You can keep it. So don't feel like you have to like, oh my God, I missed that. And oh my gosh, like if you want to just sit here and receive, totally fine. If you love taking notes like me, because like, Babs, I'm looking at you too, like the good students in us, I gotta keep up. That's cool too. But you can always come back. This is going to take time to integrate. I'm going to drop a lot of massive stuff. Some of it may be new, some of it not. But it's going to take time. So just let whatever comes, come, let whatever goes, go, whatever resonates, take it, whatever doesn't, fine. Just let yourself be wherever you are. And this is really important. What I'm about to go over is not a replacement for anything, meaning you don't have to take this and replace what you're doing with it. Like you don't have to say, oh, I believe this now, I've got to get rid of this. You don't have to stop doing what you're doing and add something else. So everything I'm going over is another layer, and I would call it a foundational layer to anything you're already doing. So whether that's medical treatment or a specific healing modality, whether it's traditional therapy or acupuncture or self-healing that you do, or whatever healer you're working with, whatever practice you're doing, whatever works for you in diet, lifestyle, all across the board, this can be added to it. So this is another layer. And it is sort of like putting on a new lens from which to look through life. So I like to call it like my love glasses or my grace glasses. Like, oh, I need to put my love glasses on so I can see this from a different perspective. And it's not the like BS of like, only love exists and we're going to ignore everything else. It's how can I love whatever's here, even if I really, really hate it? So it's a different lens and another lens to use. I try to use it all the time. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Let me put my glasses back on. Just another lens to look through life. Okay, so here's the key. You don't need to change anything that you're doing. This will make everything that you're doing more effective. Yay! And I intend for this to be a transmission for you to be able to receive on multiple levels. So I'm a multidimensional healer. So even you'll be hearing it, you'll be receiving it from energy, you'll be going through all cells. So if you fall asleep, if you start completely ignoring me, if you have like a leaving pattern and you're like out of your body, and you're like, oh my God, I have no idea what she just said, no problem. You're going to receive it anyway. And you can always come back. And this for me, oh my gosh, it's a collection of my healing journey. Most of it the last several years. But just to give you a little bit of background, in my mid 30s, I was doing a lot of healing when I realized it wasn't about people out there and it was actually me. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. Got it. Fun. Then I realized like, oh my gosh, I did a lot of massive healing, dug into all this stuff. And then I realized like, oh wow, I've been living in a box most of my life. And my personality and who I thought was me wasn't actually me. It was a collection of like, all the patterns and programs and traumas. And like, I had this like box and like on the outside of it was like who I painted to be me. Now I didn't realize that. It's not like I was going around being fake, but then I realized like, oh my God, like this actually isn't me. None of the people that I'm hanging out with, they don't even know who I am. Like, I don't even know who I am. Like, what do I even like? Who am I? So then I went on that journey for years. That was fun to be like, I don't even know who I am and my personality isn't me. Great. Then I thought I was doing really well. Then when I hit 40, I went through this massive like life trauma because I wasn't listening to spirit. Like I was getting so many signs and so many signs and so many signs. And I just like enduring pattern just kept pushing through like, good. So spirit literally like took the box of my life and dumped it and gave it back empty. And like, here you go. I'm like, okay, great. Yeah. That's when I discovered somatic work, being in my body, trauma healing. I worked with the most amazing, who actually, she's a divine soul sister of mine, Angela Johnson. She does sacred mountain medicine. It literally came from beloved Mount Shasta, like literally the mountain. I don't know how people talk to mountains. It's amazing, but I love knowing all these people. So I started doing that work and I realized then at 40, after realizing that I had been inside of a box most of my life, then at 40, I realized like, oh, I actually haven't been in my body. Okay, great. So I've been living up in my head and out here literally for 4 decades. Okay. And if you would have asked me at that time, I would have said, no, like I'm good. I'm in my body. I got my spiritual practices. I'm good. But what I realized is like, oh, all my spiritual practices were out here. Oh, okay. That's not really helpful. I came to like earth to be in a body. Like I'm a spirit in a body. I was just a spirit, like a head with lots of things going on. So that started my healing work, my trauma work. It was terrible and wonderful, incredibly painful, unbelievably healing. It was like grief and joy sandwich. It was amazing. And over the past several years, I have dove into that, all kinds of somatic, nervous system healing, trauma healing, being in my body, body practices, connecting with Mama Gaia, moved to the forest, lived out there, so amazing, lived totally off grid, out of the system, and have discovered a profound connection into my body, into source, and learned many things that I'm going to teach you today. Meaning, you know, really in summary is that like, this is the key right here. This, your body, your divine body temple, the connection, the groundedness to Mama Gaia and up to source, like this is everything. It's so easy. Yay. Okay, let's go into divine truths. If you hear anything, hear these things. You ready? You might want to close your eyes. You don't have to, but if you want to be in like a receiving position, you put your hands on your heart and close your eyes, or you can just keep doing whatever. You can take notes or not. Number one, I'm going to say it probably 3 times. You are not broken. Deep breath and take that in. You are not broken. You are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You are whole and complete and intrinsically perfect exactly as you are. Right now, in this moment. Exactly as you are. Now, who has little inner critics and pieces coming up wanting to argue that? It's real, and keep note of them. That's okay. Those are innocent pieces of you. We're going to talk about them later. That's your protector. It's okay. It's all good. So like that little person going, nah, that's not true. They're welcome here. All y'all's inner critics, all y'all's protectors, totally welcome here. Okay, so number 1, you are not broken. Number 2, all of you is lovable. All of you is lovable. So even think about it if you were going to say that. All of me is lovable. Every piece of myself, every part of you, even the pieces right now saying, well, yeah, except for me, or once I fix that, or except for this really shameful part, or except for that rage or anger. No, all of them, even all of them are worthy of love. All of you is welcome here, and all of you is lovable. So once again, notice what parts of your body are going, no, or what parts of you, like maybe it's your mom's voice, maybe it's society, maybe it's that protector. No, that's not true. No, this part of me is not welcome. I was proven that when I was a kid, like this part is not lovable. When I showed them last time, not loved. Even they are lovable, it's okay if they don't know right now. Totally fine. The intelligent design, number 3, the intelligent design of your body holds innate wisdom and is the key to everything. I kind of dropped that one earlier. We have such an intelligent design of our body. We're going to talk about that a lot today. Last one, everything is healable and anything is possible. Everything is healable and anything is possible. Yes, I truly believe that. And it's true, but you don't have to believe me. It's okay. Okay, so somatic healing, nervous system healing, huge buzzwords right now. Like everybody's talking about them. Everybody's doing workshops and classes and mentorship and this and that. That's amazing. Anything you can do to get into your body is amazing, whether that's yoga or whether it's like a practice, whether it's a book you're reading, whether it's a workshop or a YouTube video. All of this is so great because we have been so fundamentally disconnected from our bodies on purpose because it makes us controllable. So like everything in society, television, TV, programming, they don't call it programming for nothing. The TV, the food with poison in it to keep us disconnected, the water with fluoride in it, all of the things, everything. School, so we're learning to like work 9 to 5 and like listen and follow instructions. Every single thing in society from the mainstream is on purpose, keeping us disconnected from our body. So it is not intrinsically easy in this day and age, unless you go move to the forest, which you don't have to do, but it's not always easy to stay connected, which is why now there's so much coming up to teach people how to be reconnected. So that's awesome. So somatic healing is literally like soma, the body, being in your body, feeling your feelings. Nervous system, learning, most of it, the teaching is like the science of the nervous system. So like the literal design and scientific, like you can learn that if you want to. It's interesting, but you actually don't have to. Whatever works. And the nervous system is what triggers and regulates your fight, flight, freeze. So something scary happens,
It's like the, the actual like, oh my gosh, like I'm ready to fight, or I'm running, or I'm freezing, or even the fawn. So fight, flight, freeze, fawn. It's just like your automatic reaction. Your body's innate responses are done by the nervous system. So think of like, and it's a way to run your energy through and to release. So like think of like in animals, like innate behavior is like shaking. So like think of when ducks fight. Have you all ever seen ducks fight? It's kind of funny. They're and then what do? They shake it out and then they're fine. Then they just swim away. It's all out. They've released it out of their system. So our system is highly intelligent. It is completely set up to flow that way. But what often happens is things get in the way. So that's what we're going to talk about. But that's a really simple kind of high level of somatic and nervous system. There are so many amazing teachers. If you want to learn the ins and outs, like truly, there's lots of YouTube videos, lots of courses, lots of books. And you actually don't need to know any of that, but you can if it's fun for you, if you're a nerd like me. And you just like to learn. And sometimes it helps understand. And that's actually what we're going to talk about today. So, intelligent design of your body temple. Everything happening is happening for you on purpose. All of it. So aches, pains, illness, dis-ease, disease, fatigue, overwhelm, anxiety, all of that is communication from your body. It's just your body temple saying, hey, I need some attention here. Just communication. Your body's like a tuning fork. Now, if you're like me, me previously, when I didn't know this, I would just get frustrated and I want to get rid of it. Like, I just need my back to stop hurting so I can go back to doing what I was doing. And like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, but I need to do all this stuff. Like, let me just drink coffee. And like, there's nothing wrong with coffee, but like, just understand what we do as a society is like, I want to get rid of that. We tend to see it as a problem, right? So like I learned growing up, if I have a headache, I take pain reliever. That's like if your car light goes on, like the little warning light, taking out the light bulb. Like think about that. My car warning light goes on. I'm just going to take out the light bulb so I don't have to see the warning anymore. Doesn't that sound crazy? But that's what we do. Like I did it all the time. I mean, that's what I learned to do. Like, oh yeah, you have a headache, okay, well, but that headache is your body saying, hey, I need some attention here, or hey, I'm holding on to something that needs attention, or hey, maybe I need to drink water, or I need rest, whatever it is. Like your innate wisdom is very specific to you. So what a headache is for me might be very different for you, or it might be very specific to the time. Like I might be under a lot of stress, or I might be really dehydrated. Like it's very individual for the situation and the person, but it's always communication, and learning how to tune into it gives you the wisdom of your body. So things like chronic illness, that's something that has been communicated over and over and over that we haven't had the ability to hear. And it doesn't mean like, oh, don't go get, medical help or whatever it is. It means also understand that it's communication. It's like your body holding up a sign saying, hey, right here, little arrow, me. And what's great and terrible at the same time when you're under the fix-it strategy is the body will keep telling you. It will never stop. If there's a message that it needs to get you, it will never stop. So like, that's why sometimes when you aren't listening or you haven't kind of tuned into this and you take medication or go, let's say I take a pharmaceutical product, like, okay, I go to the doctor, I have this and I receive this and I start taking it. Maybe I only get temporary relief, or this goes away, but then this pops up. It's like whack-a-mole. So it's like, oh, because like you suppress this light. So now the body's giving this light. So it's like, oh, okay, great. Thanks, body. But yes, thanks, body. But at first we're like, oh my God, this just won't go away. Right. Because there's a message and you need to hear it. Okay. Any questions so far? Y'all with me? Anyone doing the leaving pattern and just totally out of their body right now? Okay, on we go. On we go to why. Why does this happen? Why can't I just take Advil and get rid of a headache? Your body is amazing. It is holding on to everything that you haven't had the space or the awareness or the actual capacity to process or hold. Thank you, body. So a lot of the background that I'm going to start talking about is from my divine soul sister, Angela, who got so much of this divine wisdom from beloved Shasta. She gives a really good example about babies. So as an infant, baby is helpless, tiny little vessel. It needs other people, right? Baby can't survive without its caregivers. It knows it. So the baby's emotional expression and the emotional feeling are one thing, meaning baby feels something and baby expresses something. Baby feels cold, baby cries. It's not two. Whereas like right now, if I was like, oh, I'm cold, I might like wait for 10 minutes or might even ignore it and then later go up and get a sweater because I have the capacity to do that. Baby can't do that. So it's one thing. So baby feels and baby expresses. Now, the reason is the expression is what allows the environment to respond. So the natural cycle is baby feels, baby expresses, environment responds. It's just the loop of what the ideal situation would be. So baby's hungry, baby cries, environment responds. Caregiver, maybe mom, dad, whoever comes and responds with food. Baby gets what it needs met, cycle complete. That is the ideal world. Now, when that doesn't happen, our divine design of our body temple will keep us alive and protect us at all costs, meaning when the environment can't respond and the baby's expressing without a response, that's leaking life force energy. Like a baby who just keeps crying and crying and crying, they would eventually actually die. They would leak so much life force energy that they would have nothing left. The body knows that. So in its innate wisdom, it goes, starts clamping energy, holding on to whatever it is. Now, it may be something really simple, like baby's scared or baby's cold, and it doesn't get the response it needs. Eventually, the body will go and start holding these. Now, if then 10 minutes later, mom comes and gives it what it needs, or dad, or whoever is in the environment to respond, then, okay, then the cycle is complete. But what often happens, even in the best of times, like even the best parents, like I call myself a great parent. There's no way I could respond to every time my daughter cried. Like sometimes it just wasn't possible. And so even in the best situations, there are times where our body is clamping up. Or think of it this way. Let's say you had the most attentive mom who just strapped you around in a Moby and carried you around. That's amazing. What about when you get to school and you fall and skin your knee and it really hurts and you don't want to cry in front of your friends? Like, you know, boys don't cry or be tough or whatever it is, or you're embarrassed about something. And instead of expressing the emotion, you clamp it in. Like your body automatically will hold what you do not have the capacity to hold. And in our little bodies, we are often not a big enough vessel. So it's kind of like, think of a cup of water where you're pouring water into it and it's about to overflow. It needs a bigger vessel. It needs a sink. That's why we have parents. That's why we have caregivers, because the body's little vessel as a baby and even as a little kid, it literally doesn't have enough physical space. So enter a grounded, or in an ideal world, a grounded, like stable nervous system. That's how it's supposed to work. Now, here's where trauma comes in, because a lot of us had really effed up childhoods and not grounded and responsive environments or parents or whatever you want to call it. So if you think about a child who was abused, if you're 3 and you're in a situation where, let's say, even your parents are fighting, you can't just be like, screw you guys, I'm leaving. So your body goes, clamps it all up and holds it in, puts armor up because that is too much for you to handle. And like direct abuse of a child, think about what your body has to do to hold that in. So like, you can't just be at 2 years old, I'm leaving. And even at, 5, 10, 16, when you have an authority figure or whatever, and you're in a not a safe situation, you don't feel like you can just get up and leave. So your body, you exit out of your body and your body holds it for you. So literally, your body is in a safe place. So your energy kind of goes, and this is how a lot of us end up living out here and in our heads. We get cut off from our body because it wasn't safe, and our body holds on to all of that for us. It is by design. Thank you, body. So it literally keeps us in this vessel, in this temple, until we have enough space, or like a horizontal light anchoring, someone else who can come in with a regulated nervous system, or until we can get our own systems regulated enough till we have a big enough vessel, like our bodies now are big enough to hold this stuff. And that's why it starts coming up. So your body will literally hold it until you have a space for it to come up in a safe environment. Because at 5 years old, didn't have the capacity, literally couldn't have handled it, couldn't have processed it. So it holds and it holds and it holds and it holds. And some people never actually unpack it. Some people end up with chronic illness, disease, all the things, maybe even things like emotional depression, mania, all of the things that obviously there are other causes too, but trauma is a huge factor to this, where if they aren't ever ready to unpack it, or if they don't actually understand, they'll carry it on into infinity. But your body will keep holding it until you're ready. Is this, Jessica asks, is this where my constant exhaustion is coming from? Yes. Yes. So exhaustion is your body holding on to so many things and us not actually listening to it. Now, I lived that for so many years. I used to work I was in finance for too long. And I used to work in the go man's office. Like, I was the only woman, I was in charge of stuff. I had a whole team. We worked like 10, 12 hours a day. And like, we got stuff done. Like, if you left on time, you were a big slacker. Oh my God. The amount of clamping up and armoring over I had to do to work in that environment, I'm probably still unpacking it. I was exhausted for years. So yes, because what will happen is your body will let you know, I need to rest. And if you're like me, just like, yeah, in the military, she did that in the military. If you're like me, oh, let's have coffee or tea or whatever, or I've got to eat food to like get energy to be able to do more instead of just resting. So your body's always communicating. And when we aren't listening to it, whether it's like physical or emotional, when we're not able to actually respond to it, so your body's giving a signal, when the environment or us isn't responding, body then holds it. Your body can only hold so much before it's like, hey, hello, over here. And that's what all of these things are: aches, pains, tension, anxiety, overwhelm, depression, exhaustion, you name it. It's your body saying, hey, I need help. Now, there might be lots of things that it actually calls for, whether it's medical attention or specific physical therapy or, actual energetic therapy. Like, there might be lots of things it needs, but what it needs the most is to be heard and like, oh, hi, I see you. So yes, Jessica, you are right on track. Now, what's interesting about this and what's important is a lot of the somatic work and the nervous system healing that I have experienced, there's often a missing link where there's a lot of the science and the background, but they don't actually understand the divine design, or they're not explaining the divine design of it. So it feels like a problem, or like, oh, the energy is stuck, or like this problem, or like there's something wrong. Like, it's something wrong that I have trauma in my system. No, my body is amazing and it's been saving my ass for 40 years. There's nothing going wrong. It's that we need to start paying attention to it. So like, this layer of the intelligent body design, it did two things for me. One, it got me to stop being like, oh my God, like my shoulder won't stop hurting. Like the being frustrated with my body. It allowed me to go, oh my God, thank thank you, body. And I'm so sorry. Like I had to do some huge like mea culpa to my body. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I've been so frustrated with you for so many years and you were just holding on to that all for me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I felt like an ass. So thank you, body. Huge gratitude for our bodies doing so much work, like literally saving our ass over and over and over. We are slow learners. Okay, I am. You all might be rock stars. I'm a slow learner. Like I still sometimes like catch myself like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, but I'm going to work another 10 minutes or I'm going to like get up. No, oh my God, listen to your body, like get up. Especially driving. I don't want to pull over. It's like, I'll wait as long as I can. So dumb. I do it all the time. Why? I'm sorry, body. Anyway, so here's a big, huge missing link. When you understand, yeah, right there with you. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I do it all the time. When you understand that this is the intelligent design of your body and it's happening on purpose and for you, then you have huge grace for and gratitude for your body. And you have grace for yourself. Because here's the thing that is paramount here. All of the pieces of protection and armoring where, you know, I talked about in my mid-30s, I realized my entire personality was armoring and protection and it wasn't even me. Like, holy shit. All of that was by design. It was incredibly caring parts of myself coming up to protect other really innocent, wounded parts of myself. So for instance, I was a huge control freak. Some of y'all who know me from back then, oh my God. Oh God, I'm gonna control everything out here because it makes me feel safe. Now, I would never have known that. I would not have known that the control part of me, the one like, let me work on this and let me do this and let me do that and let me do this and I'm gonna arrange this and make that clean and do all this. Now, I'm still a really clean person. I don't mean like that if you're clean, it's like controlling, but like I was. So that part of me was protecting a part of me back here that I couldn't even access that was really, really unsafe. So this controller made it their job to make this little gal feel safe back here who felt like she had no control because she didn't when she was a kid and no safety. So this one's job, let me make her feel safe and protected. Let me control all the things out here so she feels safe. Same thing with like judgment. So judgmental. Let me look out here to see all the things wrong. This is another protector, different one. Let me look out here and find all these things wrong and all these things to judge because this little gal back here feels so unworthy and so unlovable. We have to make sure she doesn't feel that because it's too painful. So let's find all the things out here that we can focus on. Now, there was a time when I felt really, really shitty about that because I didn't understand. So like I felt terrible at how judgmental I was or how controlling or whatever it may be. But as soon as I realized like, oh my God, these are all very innocent parts of myself, just protecting another part of myself, that literally fundamentally changed my life. Because what it did is it allowed me grace for myself and compassion and understanding for myself. So that when I like fly off the handle and yell at my daughter, then what I would do is like yell at myself inside of myself. That's not helpful. I'm sure we've all been there. Not helpful. So now what I can do is like, so I still have moments where I'm just like, ah! And those moments are because I have not been paying enough attention to myself. So like overwhelm is just a somatic buildup of things you haven't felt. So like if things are kind of crazy and like we're running late and oh my God, like, can you just get your shoes on? Like, ah, oh, hi self. Like that's me now looking at myself going, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I see you. You need attention. Or thank you, protector. I see that you're protecting this little gal Anna here that needs some attention. Little gal, I'm going to sit with you in like 2 hours. Got to get my daughter to school. Then I'll be back. I'm going to sit with you, or at least I even acknowledge her. Excuse me, right then. And it changes everything. Game changer. Game changer. Because we can have grace for ourselves. Just understanding that literally everything we do is because we are protecting another very innocent part of ourselves who really needs love and attention. Like this essentially buried trauma, this stuff that got put out, didn't have the environment to respond, and got held on to. So now it comes up like saying, hey, I still need attention. And we're like, no. But now we can be like, oh, yes, I see you. I see you. I'm here. Yes. So this is the missing link, in my opinion, to a lot of this somatic and nervous system work, because it gives you the grace and understanding. What's interesting, it is also the missing link in self-love, which is like, what? How does this relate to self-love? I don't know. Matt Kahn put this piece together for me. Y'all know Matt Kahn. He's wonderful. He's got thousands of YouTube videos. He's really funny too. What does this have to do with nervous system healing? Literally everything. So this is what self-love actually is. It's showing up for yourself and being with whatever is here to be seen and felt and loved back into wholeness. It is being able to understand the intelligent design of your body and provide the compassion and grace for yourself, that every reaction at the deepest level is innocent. Every reaction, even if you're like screaming at your children. I know that sounds terrible, but even that gal deserves love, because all that is a part of yourself protecting another part of yourself that needs massive, massive love and holding. Now, it's okay in the moment if you can't love that part of yourself. That's hard. Like as a mom, like I'm going to love the part of myself that's screaming at my 4-year-old. Like that doesn't feel great. That's okay. Start wherever you are. Like love the part of yourself that can't love the part of yourself. Like start at the outside and move in. Like Matt Kahn says, whatever arises, love that. So like, oh my God, I hate myself. Okay, love the part that hates yourself. Like hold space for whatever experience is happening. Like I'm going to sit here and hold space for the part of me that hates this. Totally okay. You don't have to like automatically be in like love with everything. So self-acknowledgement. This is a huge thing for Matt Kahn that I really love, that put a lot of these pieces together. And one of the things he says is self-acknowledgement is presence in action. It's literally sitting and being with yourself. And one of the things he teaches is, here I am feeling this way. So like, that's what you might say to yourself, is literally, here I am feeling this way. You don't have to analyze it. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to like it. You don't like, it doesn't take anything other than literally saying to yourself, and I have a sign up that says, here I am feeling this way. Whatever it is, here I am feeling this way. Whether it's pain, emotional, physical, whatever it is, here I am feeling this way. Just noticing the sensation in your body, getting out of your head into your body, holding space for our experience, and giving the gift of self-acknowledgement. That's what he talks about a lot, is the gift of self-acknowledgement. Because self-acknowledgement is what heals a lot of this. And it's literally just being with yourself. Like, oh, I'm acknowledging that I'm feeling this way. I'm acknowledging I have this, pain in my neck, or I'm acknowledging that I have a headache. I'm acknowledging that my heart feels armored up and I have grief. I'm acknowledging that I feel sad. Just literally showing up and being with yourself. That sounds really silly. I didn't do that for 40 years. Maybe you're on a higher curve than I am. It took me a while. And then, so like, what's the cure to all this? And self-acknowledgement is a big piece. So the ability to be present for what is happening in your body is what completes that cycle. So think of the baby and the natural cycle. So feeling, then expressing, and then the reaction, the receiving what it was needing, that's the completion. Now, we have so many things that we've held in our body that went like this, and then got held on to. So what we can do now is show up, and it doesn't matter if it's 1 year later or 100 years later. Like, you could do this if you're any age. It does not matter. There's no time limit to healing, and your body will literally hold it the whole time. So patient. Our body is so patient. So, well, sometimes not, it gets pretty loud, but that's only to wake our asses up. So anytime you can hold space for what's happening, you are completing the cycle. So let's say I stub my toe, it hurts. I cry, give it love, do some deep breathing, get back into my body, cycle complete. I'm hungry, I get up, I feed myself, cycle complete. I'm angry, I sit and feel my feelings. I'm aware, I show up for myself, cycle complete. And anytime we can show up for things already in our body, that is us picking up that old pattern and completing it. There's no time limit. You don't have to know what it was. You don't have to be like, oh, well, what's the first memory of this? Now, sometimes that helps, but you don't have to do that. Your body is so intelligent. It will show you what's here. It will show you what's here. Like whatever pain there is what's next to be felt. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got this, crazy lump in my shoulder. Oh my gosh, my jaw is so tense. That's what's next. Literally. Okay, there it is. So you can go back and complete these cycles. Now, think of it as like yourself coming in as the bigger vessel. Now, how do we do this? So we're going to do a little exercise here. Everybody who can, if you're not driving or holding two things, you have two hands here. Pick one of them. It doesn't matter which one. One of them is going to be like the holder of your entire life force energy. So like this hand's job is to literally keep you alive. Like isn't going to let go for anything, because if it lets go, you will not survive. This hand's job is to try to pry it open. So like, I want you to actually try to pry your other hand open. So with this hand, you're squeezing as hard as you possibly can, because its total job is keep you in this body. Your life depends on this hand being closed. Now see if you can pry it open, like actually try, like use your most physical force, don't hurt yourself, but like try to pry it open. I cannot do it. I can't even get close without hurting myself. Did anyone even get close? Okay, let's shake that out because that feels terrible. Okay. Next step. This hand has the same job. Its job is to keep you alive, to keep you in this body. As hard as it can, it's going to hold on because that is its job. This hand this time is going to come with completely different energy. This time, this hand's job is to come in and go, oh my gosh, I see you. Thank you for holding all of this. You are not alone. I am here holding this too. And just feel how that feels. So do the same thing, like clench with all your might in this hand, like I'm holding so tight. And now come in with the other hand and just give it support. I am here too. Thank you. You're doing such a good job keeping us alive. Oh my gosh, I honor you. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. You are not alone. And what actually happens when you do that? This hand, at least for me, starts to go, oh, okay, I'm not alone. And I remember the first time I did this exercise, this is from Angela. I think I cried because I was like, oh my God, I'm not alone. Like, oh my God, I don't have to hold this by myself. Cause like I was running a huge like lone wolf pattern. Like I got to do all the things. Like that's how it was in my childhood. Like I'm in charge of me, can't depend on anything. I got to do all the things. And like, I was seriously running that pattern through like every cell of my body. So like when I did this exercise, I was just like, oh my God, like there's something else here. Like I'm not alone. Like it was profound for me. It was truly life-changing, that silly little exercise, but it's amazing. So here's the thing. Keep this in mind. What does this have to do with anything? Is exactly what we were talking about. So when your body's holding things by design on purpose to keep you in this body, what I used to do is be frustrated. Like, oh my God, like I can't get my, like when I used to do yoga or like relax, I would try to like make it let go. Like, can't you just relax, jaw? And that's why like 10 minutes later, it would not be relaxed because like it was holding all the shit that I hadn't felt for 40 years. So instead of trying to get it to change or being upset about it, we can come with our attention, even a hand, like whatever it is, like our hands are extensions of our heart, and come to the part of that body and say, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you for holding this. You are not alone. I am here too. And just providing loving presence and attention. And you can do this when you're feeling like an actual emotional response, like sadness, like putting your hands on your heart, or if like maybe it's on your solar plexus, maybe you're feeling just lots of unworthiness and you want to put them like on your root chakra. Maybe it's like holding your face when you're crying, like whatever it is, you can show up for yourself in that way. Just saying, oh my gosh, I'm here too. Thank you for holding all of this. Thank you. You are not alone. And just providing really loving presence. And you can even picture like, you know, beautiful, loving spirit light, you know, pink or sparkly, whatever it is, just kind of enveloping that space in your body. Or if it's like an emotional thing, like you can picture yourself wrapped in that beautiful space of just complete love and holding of all of that. And like summarizing all this and bringing it all together is when you can understand that what your body has been doing is so purposeful, and like recognize how much it's doing for you, you can come with that gratitude, like, oh my gosh, thank you, body. Like instead of like, oh my gosh, my knee won't stop hurting. Like, I want to go running. I'm so frustrated. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you, body. What do you need? Let me sit and put my hands on my knee and give it some love. And sometimes what will happen is an actual experience of like a memory or a trauma or a big emotion when you're actually present with your body. Like sometimes this unravels amazing things. And like the more, it's like an onion, the more you do it, the more layers you can get to. And often it does help to have another person in the beginning, because like, I didn't know how to be in my body. My body was numb. Like I didn't feel anything. I'm not joking. Like when I started doing this, somebody would say, what do you feel in your body? Nothing. Like, I don't know. Just my body. Like I had no concept of any body sensations, completely numb. So for a while, I just sat with the numbness. That was cool. It was so weird. My body, oh gosh, body, I love you so much. And the other part, when you can understand that your patterns and triggers and those like the parts of yourself that you really don't like are a part of you protecting another very innocent part of you, that gives you such grace and understanding and compassion. You completely, that's why I call it the love glasses or the grace glasses. Like, oh, okay. It completely changed the way I related to myself. And understanding that like the pain and the tension, anything is communication from your body. So just placing your hand there, body, I'm here. Thank you. Thank you for holding me. Thank you, body. And going back to the Matt Kahn stuff, a lot of times he talks about unworthiness and trauma, how they go hand in hand, because it keeps us in survival mode. And what happens, like he calls it the ego, I tend to call it a protector, because really it's an innocent part of ourselves trying to protect. But essentially, the ego or the protector comes in when you feel unworthy, when you're in survival mode, and it acts as like a rescuer. So like from a state of unworthiness, we look outside of ourselves to feel more worthy. And he talks about how you recruit the ego to seek worthiness outside of yourself. Like, I'm going to go find it out here. The key is self-acknowledgement. So when instead you can be with yourself, it becomes the way in which you reward yourself with attention, and that builds up into worthiness, like being with yourself and honoring yourself and thanking your body. And I'll probably do a whole class on that at another point, because it's really fun too. You can like be ridiculous and be like, oh my gosh, look how good I did it. Just like putting butter on the bread. Look how good I did at opening that door. Look how good I did at brushing my teeth. It's super fun. But anytime you can be present with yourself and acknowledge yourself, that builds worthiness. And anytime you are feeling, so like with the pattern that got stuck and stopped and the body held it, anytime you're present for one of those pieces, and instead of just letting it keep doing this, you stop and you respond and you be the vessel that can receive it. Anytime you do that, it releases that energy that's been held and creates more space and more light. And what that does is create more ability, a bigger vessel to feel and heal and more space in your system. One of my favorite quotes from Angela is, the language of trauma is tension and not enough time. And not enough time means not enough space. So literally when we feel like we're just going, like we don't have time, there's not enough space, like, oh, I'm just overwhelmed. That is literally tension, trauma in your body. The more we can sit with any pieces of this, the more space it opens up, and the more we have the ability to hold this within ourselves. It is truly unbelievable. Now, I know we are coming up on time. I wanted to do a short exercise to like show you how all, like a guided practice in our body. Do y'all have like 10 more minutes? Do you want me to do that on a separate video? What do you think? Okay, so why don't we do this? Anyone who needs to drop off, you've got, you'll have this in the recording. So anybody that needs to go, bless you for being here and listening. And what I will do is drop us into a very quick guided experience of doing this, of like showing up for yourself and seeing how this works in practice, because this took me a long time to learn. Like it was really not easy for me. So kind of letting ourselves integrate into all that we just learned. Let's do a guided practice in just how does this actually operate. So you can turn your camera off if you want, just be in a really internal space, or you can just stay as you are, but you can close your eyes and just get into a receiving space here. Just take some deep breaths. And just really anchoring into your body. And what we're going to sit with is what is here right now. Like you just learned a lot of information. That was a lot of information processing. If you feel like you need to shake out your body, take some deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth, just to really ground into this space. And the goal is to be in your body. So we're not trying to change anything or make anything different. We're just here to be present for whatever comes up, whether that's a feeling, a body sensation, an emotion, whether it's numbness, whatever is here, we're going to be here for that. So just tuning into your body. You can place your hands on your heart or open on your lap, whatever feels good. Taking some deep breaths, noticing how your lungs, your rib cage are expanding as you breathe in, contracting as you breathe out, feeling your sit bones, your feet on the ground. Noticing where your body feels really held and is able to relax in, and where it might be resisting, and not trying to change it, not trying to make anything different, just noticing where you might still feel like you have to do some holding or where your body's still a little tense. Just being aware of whatever's here, noticing the peripheral vision you have. Even if your eyes are closed, you can notice the space to the left of you, to the right of you, to the front and back, above and below. Just creating a really deep, wide center for all that is here. And starting to tune in. what is actually here? And the brilliance is you don't actually have to know, like you don't have to analyze anything. You don't have to know what it means. You're simply here being present to whatever arises. So the actual physical sensations in your body, maybe you feel pain somewhere, maybe you feel tension, maybe tightness. Maybe you have an emotional sensation coming up. So being present for whatever's here right now, and also tuning in to what has my body been trying to communicate? What is here that wants to be felt? Maybe it's a particular place in your body that you've been holding tension. Maybe it's a specific emotion like overwhelm, anxiety, sadness, shame, anger, grief, isolation. What has been up for you lately? What has been trying to get your attention? And once again, we're not trying to change anything or analyze it or understand it or figure out where it came from. We're simply noticing. And all of you is welcome here. Even the emotions that may seem quote unquote unapproved, like anger and rage. That's often one that is not acceptable in society. It is absolutely acceptable, and you must feel it to heal it. So all of that is welcome here, and just being fully present to whatever wants to come up and just giving it your love and attention and remembering the hand. And you can use your hands as an extension of your heart. So if you have tension in your shoulder, placing a hand on your shoulder, or perhaps your chest, your solar plexus, whatever is getting your attention, you can place one or both hands there, or just wrap it in beautiful spirit energy with the energy of, I see you. Thank you for holding this. You are not alone, and I am here holding this with you. Not trying to make anything go away, just allowing it to be here and welcoming whatever is here to be here. And here I am feeling this way. Here I am feeling this way. Whatever arises, just being fully present to it. Fully available to see it. Just acknowledge that it's here. You don't have to like it. Just acknowledging, I see you. I am here too. And thank you, body, for holding all of this. And giving love to all of these parts and all of these little pieces. And taking some deep breaths and coming back into this moment. Anything that you felt was really big there that wants to be sat with, make sure you sort of put a pin in it and say, I will be back. Make sure you do take time later to come back. And you can do this practice literally at any moment throughout the day and many times a day, or you can set aside time to do it in a big whopper of an experience. And just coming back into this moment. You can shake or stretch out, whatever your body needs to do. Just coming back into present, into the now. Thank you, body. Thank you guys for sticking around a little bit longer. I wanted to make sure we got a chance to, so Melanie says, I couldn't stay in my body for some of that. That's by design, that's okay. So that's one of your protectors. Like you probably had protectors like I did. Got to get out of here. Not safe to feel this. Totally normal by design. So just noticing when you get kicked up out of your body, whether like to your grocery list, like, oh, I got to do this. I'm going to go to the grocery store, or like into whatever experience, like, oh my God, I literally need to get up and physically move. That's okay. You don't have to like force yourself to sit. Just notice like, oh, hi, I see you, protector. Thank you for being here and keeping me safe. And you can even ask, who is it that you're protecting? Because who it's going to be is a really innocent little part of you that feels like it is not actually safe to be in your body and feel this. So you don't have to force yourself into what you're not ready for. You will eventually get there, or you can find a practitioner to sit and anchor light with you, because 2 nervous systems are better than 1. It's like when 2 or more are gathered, you can hold more space. It's a bigger vessel. Or you can just keep practicing and being with yourself. You can journal about what the protector is trying to protect you from. Like, your body is so divinely designed that it will bring up whatever is here at the time that you're ready to feel it. So today you may have noticed, oh my gosh, there was a lot of like going out of my body, or maybe numbness. Maybe you felt nothing, whatever it was. That's totally okay. We're not trying to change it. We don't need to make it different. There's no right way to do this. Whatever is happening is what's happening, and we want to honor whatever it is. So thank you, protector, for trying to knock me up into my brain. And a lot of times it's just a pattern. So you can say, oh, thank you, brain. Thank you for trying to protect me. I don't need you right now. I'm going to be back in my body. I'm going to be back in my heart. And you can count your breaths, or you can tune into specific spaces in your body to invite yourself back in. And sometimes for me, it used to be like a hot potato, like up, down, up, down. I would literally just hold my brain. Oh, thank you, brain. You're so sweet. You're so good at keeping me protected. I don't need you right now, but thank you. Thank you. And then, 20 seconds later, oh, thank you, brain. That doesn't happen for too long. Like, it's a practice, and you just notice. And then you notice if you get frustrated, like a part of me is pissed at the part of me that keeps leaving my body. But it's all divine design. It's all wonderful. It's all just here to be noticed. So like, oh, I notice that I leave my body a lot. That's okay. This practice will allow you to keep expanding and to keep going inward. It's like, think of it like a spiral staircase in. You will just be able to keep going deeper and deeper. Jessica says, I find myself needing to thank and acknowledge my jaw a lot. It is so tense. Oh my gosh. If there's one place I hold tension, it is right here. It is the last place to let go. Like the last place. Like I have done so much somatic and trauma and healing work and all the things. Sometimes my jaw is still. So I'm just like, oh, thank you, jaw. I love you. But it's a good tuning fork, because when I notice that I'm holding tension, I'm like, oh, I'm not paying attention to something. Let me sit. I've got some buildup here. I've got some buildup that my lovely jaw is holding for me. So good. This is so good. A couple things to wrap up. You can't escape your feelings. I tried. So many people have tried. The only way out is through. I think that's a Robert Frost poem. So the purpose of every interaction that comes to like trigger you, like we always think triggers are about somebody else. Picture them holding up a sign that says healing here and pointing to wherever. So like if I get frustrated at my daughter, it really has nothing to do with her. Now, sometimes there needs to be a boundary set. I'm not saying like let people walk all over you, but like if I'm being triggered, it's something within me that's being activated, literally saying there's a cycle that needs to be complete here. Something needs to be held here. So just know that like you can't get around this. I spent years trying to like have someone else fix me or heal me, or like energetically, like spiritually bypass my way around it. Like, let's think the good thought and the positive thought and meditate my way through it. That doesn't work. We are in bodies for a reason. We are spirits in a body. You can't do it out here and up here. Like that's all great. And like high vibing is great, but it doesn't get you anywhere when you're in a physical body. It gets you bypassing all the shit that then catches up with you and smacks you in the face like a freight train. And then you're like, oh, thanks. So there's no shortcut, but actually this is like a shortcut because you don't even have to know what it is. Like you can heal stuff out of your body that is from old serious trauma and not even know what it is. Like your body will literally, like it's in your fascia, it's all in all of your cells and your tissues, and it's held in all the places. Like your body stores it in so many places and it's all there. It's all kept safe for you. And it will just keep coming up as you can see it, and you just keep going down the staircase, down the staircase, down the staircase, in and in and in and in and in. And the more you do it, the wider it gets, and the more you can do it. And I needed help to do this for years. So don't feel like you're failing if you can't do it. Like, this is not easy when your body has trained you to not be in it. So it's just a reorienting and a re-experiencing and a reconnecting with the body. A lot of things that help is like, go out in nature, stand on Mama Gaia with your bare feet, hold like a rock, stand by the water, shower is grounding. Like, there's so many things that can help, but just putting the love glasses on and the grace glasses will literally transform everything. So if all you get from this is remembering, like, oh my God, I'm so fucking pissed. Ah! Oh, wait a minute. This is happening for me. This is part of myself that's protecting another little part. Let me put my love glasses on and have grace for that part of myself spewing out, because it needs to be held and it's protecting a really wounded part. A lot of times we can't actually see this part back here, but it's there. There's a reason that protector is focusing out here and doing all this and being like, oh, it's there. And that, or the pain, or however it comes up, the anxiety, depression, grief, overwhelm, whatever it is, chronic illness, fatigue, all of it, simply communication, simply your body expressing that it needs some attention and presence. So don't try to bypass your way through this or self-medicate your way through it with alcohol, drugs, Facebook, whatever, or, like literally medicate your way through it. Like, none of that will actually work. Like, that doesn't mean don't use medication. It means don't try to get rid of symptoms with medication, because the symptoms are the communication showing you what is here. So heal in whatever way feels honoring to your body, but know that everything is communication. The knee pain, the joint pain, the heartburn, the grief, the anxiety, the depression, the fatigue, the overwhelm, all of it is simply your system having a lot of stuff to carry around and having a lot of stuff that it clamped in and is holding, and it just needs some space held. It needs you to come and do this. I'm here. I see you. Thank you for holding all of this. And then it just starts releasing, releasing, releasing. Ah, such a beautiful practice. Questions? I know we went through a massive amount of information. If your brain is ready to explode, that's okay. Thanks for hanging in. I will get the replay out. You are so welcome. And I know this is so much, so I'm also going to create some, I don't know, I'm feeling into what is most helpful as far as, you're so welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. As far as whether it's like practice space or videos, I know I'm going to make some videos for people to just watch on their own time, going into each of these things much more, because all the things we covered, handout, that would be awesome. I'm going to create one, PJ, I will. What's funny though, is that I didn't want to wreck my nervous system to do a class on nervous system. So I was like, well, because I was going to make slides for y'all. Didn't happen. I was like, all right, well, I'm not feeling up for that, so I'm not going to do it. I gave myself grace and I gave myself a free pass, which I never would have done, 5-10 years ago. I would have like rammed my body through it. And like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go hardcore and then I'll rest later. I can't shoot my nervous system to present on the nervous system. So, thank you so much. I will be in your inbox with the recording. I will be in your inbox with some practices you can do. For now, just be aware. You can do what we call the being practice, like literally laying on the ground or even in a chair if that's uncomfortable, just like literally being with the sensations in your body, or just sitting and doing what we did. You can replay that one piece. And I'm actually going to make an audio of just the like feeling portion. So you all will have that too. If you do that once a day, whether guided or not, and there's tons of guided stuff on like Spotify and YouTube, like just guided, look for guided somatic experience, guided being in your body meditation. Don't look for meditation that puts you out here. I mean, that's good too. It has its place, but that's not the point of this. Find something that will get you in your body, like feeling the parts of your actual body. But I will be coming out with some things. I'm here if you have questions. Feel free to just reply to the email. I so appreciate you guys sitting for this. I know it was so much. We got through most of it, and I'll have more. If anybody wants to ask questions, certainly let me know. And until the next time, thank you all so much. Such a blessing. Sending you all so much love. Thank you, our ascended masters who were here, and all of our highest wisdom for communicating in the most divine way, and that we are all able to be present here together. And thank you, technology, for making this possible. Happy weekend, y'all. Happy 3/3. I'm sending y'all so much love. Mwah!